Hello, grade 4. Today we did our second writing example for persuasive writing. Okay, let's go over that and talk about what we did. Here on the left side, we have the facts and opinion chart that we created. We have the same chart in our practice workbook for grammar on page 51B. We used it with the first writing, so today we drew our own chart in our notebook. I gave the students the facts and opinions, and they told me which side to place them in. So we'll discuss each one. We'll discuss why it's a fact and why it's an opinion, and then we'll talk about how we put them together to do the writing. Okay? All right, so the first sentence on the fact side is the museum is 5 miles from the school. We can measure the difference to prove that the museum is 5 miles from the school. That makes it a fact. Remember, we said a fact is something you can prove, and an opinion is what you think. Okay, the next one, there's a special low entrance fee for groups of students. This is a fact. We can prove that the museum gives a special rate to students when they come as groups. They have a new exhibit on mummies. The exhibit is at the museum, so it's easy to prove. They give interesting guided tours of the exhibits. Easy enough to prove that there are tour guides who take you around the museum. The museum includes exhibits on transportation, pioneer life, inventors, and the Civil War. Okay, we can prove this also by asking at the museum what their exhibits are, and they can tell you. Okay, so all of this information can be proved. That makes it a fact. Now, opinions, again, opinions are what we think. The History Museum would be a great place for a class trip. This is an opinion because maybe I think the History Museum is a great place for a class trip, but maybe another teacher thinks it's not a great place to go for a class trip. Maybe the students don't think it's a good idea. Okay, so this is the writer's opinion. It will be easy and won't cost a lot. Okay, maybe what I consider to be easy, someone else considers to be difficult. And what I think doesn't cost a lot, someone else thinks is too much money. So this is again an opinion. It's what you think. Everyone will find that something interesting at the museum. Maybe you think nothing at the museum is interesting, and this is your right. You have a right to your opinion, just like I have a right to mine. So this is what we think. I think there's something interesting for everyone. Someone else might think there is nothing interesting at all. The students will learn lots. What I consider to be a lot of information, someone else may not consider to be a lot. They may think it's not enough information and it's not worth the trouble of going. There isn't a more interesting or educational place for a trip. Okay, this is also an opinion because it's what I think. I think it's educational and I think it's interesting. Someone else may go to the museum and come out and say that was very boring. Okay, so it is your opinion, it is what you think. Now, we took the facts in the museum, sorry, the facts and the facts and the opinions, and we put them together in two paragraphs. We wrote each one starting with an opinion, and then we gave reasons why we thought that opinion was correct, and then we closed our paragraph with a sentence that we thought was a suitable ending. I asked the students which sentence they thought would make the best beginning, the lead sentence, so the lead for our paragraph, and they told me the History Museum would be a great place for a class trip. So we decided to use this as our lead, and then I asked which one they thought would be a great ending. They chose there isn't a more interesting or educational place for a trip. So this is what we chose to use as our ending. Okay, so we started with the History Museum would be a great place for a class trip. Then we gave reasons why. The museum is 5 miles from the school. There is a special low entrance fee for groups of students, so it will be easy and won't cost a lot. Oops, capital I there, mistake. They have a new exhibit on mummies. The students will learn lots. Okay, so we used our reasoning here to explain why we thought the trip would be a great trip for the students to take. We started here with an opinion and we ended with an opinion in our paragraph. We started the second paragraph again with an opinion. Everyone will find something interesting, and then we talked about the things you can do at the museum and the things you will find. They give interesting guided tours of the exhibits. The museum includes exhibits on transportation, pioneer life, inventors, and the Civil War. We use the final sentence, our ending, to sum up everything that we had said. There isn't a more interesting or educational place for a trip. So we use the information on our facts and opinion side to create the two paragraphs. Now, when you read this to yourself again, pause the tape and read the two paragraphs together and ask yourself, did we give you good information to make you think the way that we think? Did we convince you? Did we persuade you to have the same opinion that we have? Okay? All right, that's it for our second example, and we'll see you next time in the video. Bye-bye.